of course, everybody's favorite, Trump or Biden.
Look,
You made it.
Let me just answer because I really love Trump's tweets, his 1 minute highlight reels. But between the two, I mean, it's really hard to choose, I gotta say, watching from afar.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's true, right? He was an awesome tweeter. Like, he had some good content. Biden's rant and his are really interesting, and they make for amazing memes. What makes for better content?
You know what? I was watching Ben Shapiro not long ago, a couple of maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, and he brought up a talk. Who wins, Biden or the teleprompter? And the teleprompter won out for like 4 days straight. Like, Biden was lost. He could not read and stay up with this teleprompter. So,
boom!
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 Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited about this one. We have Jas Takhar here live from his studio in our studios that are also in separate places and aren't really studios. But welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
I really appreciate this. Love the energy you guys are bringing already. I'm going to have to make sure I go on a level 10 just to not only match you guys, but I'm going to try to beat your energy today.
Yeah, well, we actually like to take it to 11, if that's all right.
Well, look, now since we're doing that, I mean, 13 is my lucky number, so I'm going to try to take it there.
Let's blow past Spinal Tap and go to 13. I love it. I love it. So we're gonna dive in and start it with speed breakers. I don't know if you've heard the podcast or know anything of it, but anybody can do speed breakers. So I'll be looking down here at the sheet. Still haven't memorized them. Are you ready, sir?
I am. Let's go.
All right. Okay. You answer fast. Have you ever had a mullet?
No.
First crush?
Heidi Lambert, grade 6.
Most embarrassing thing your mom ever caught you doing?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on this podcast.
It's good. You're honest. Fastest speed ever driven?
120 miles.
Good. I like that because we can't convert. So thank you. Favorite cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
How many kids? Have you made cry, sir? Have you made cry? Please wait for the whole question.
I don't know, 52.
That sounds good. Count Chocula or Count Dracula?
Oh, Dracula.
Fastest mile. That's 2 Draculas today. Fastest mile.
Fastest mile. What, that I ran?
See, we don't put any qualifications. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. I would say I've done 12 laps around my track in 12 minutes. I don't know how much miles that is.
That sounds pretty close. Favorite flavor?
Yeah.
We don't use any units. Yeah, see? Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs.
Now, this may be sort of foreign for you being from Canada, but tacos or burritos?
Oh, all day long burritos.
Oh, interesting. Favorite video game?
FIFA.
Oh, I really liked that. Was a lot of fun. I remember that. Oh, and I guess they probably still have it, but I remember the old one.
Oh, they do.
But yeah.
I used the Sega Genesis, a PlayStation now. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, everybody's favorite, Trump or Biden. And you don't have to answer that one. So thank you. You made it.
Let me just answer because I really love Trump's tweets. Watching his 1 minute highlight reels. But between the two, I mean, it's really hard to choose, I gotta say, watching from afar.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's true, right? He was an awesome tweeter. There was he had some good content, but Biden's rants and his are really interesting, and they make for amazing memes. So what makes for better content? More entertaining? That's the question.
Yeah, you know what? I was watching Ben Shapiro not too long ago, a couple of maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, and he brought up a talk of it was a segment, sorry. Who wins, Biden or the teleprompter? And the teleprompter won out for like 4 days
Every
straight.
time.
Like Biden was lost. He could not read and stay up with this teleprompter. So you know what? I mean, Trump had some amazing content, but Biden's catching up. That's for sure.
Is that an inability to read, an inability to see, or just not even being there? Like what prompts the?
I think it's a mixture of all three, but definitely the latter there. I just I don't think he's all there right now, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some old age hitting him really hard right now.
Yeah.
From
and
what
I don't know.
Anyways, I mean,
and you can safely say this from Canada. I don't know if we're going to get a knock on the door now. Are we safe, Jason?
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, I know. I can sit here and say that.
They might not extract you, but we could be in trouble.
We could.
With what's been going on there, you're right, man.
Yeah. Well, and Canada is locked down, right? You can't really do much. Is that true? Or you can't visit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're in complete lockdown again.
Wow.
April 2020, we went into this complete lockdown for probably about 3 months. And then there was like a semi-lockdown throughout the summer, all the way until, I'm going to say, I don't know what the heck. There was like 3 phases. You could go to a restaurant, right, but 4 of you can sit. And there was like, you can sit outside for a little bit, like 30 minutes.
Who comes up with the equations, like the metrics on this thing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, who's coming up?
If you're standing, mask. Sitting, no mask.
Legs folded, it's okay. Legs.
Can you cross your leg and not have the mask on? I don't know. Who knows?
It's so true.
I'm gonna cross.
Well, it's almost like, okay, there's no going outside. There's no going inside.
Mm-hmm.
There's no eating, but you can eat with 3 people. Like, there's some weird ass rules that are around us right now, and we'll see how long this lasts for.
Very confusing times. Yeah.
How do Canadians feel about the vaccine?
Well, I mean, the number I read a stat literally 30 minutes ago. 65% of Canadians have gotten their first dose.
Wow.
So that
and still locked down.
And still locked down, yeah. But to answer your question, that tells me that most people are bullish, for a lack of a better word, on getting it. So, cool. 65% have got their first dose. We are seeing some protests here in downtown Toronto, where you're having a lot of people come out and saying don't wear masks and don't take the vaccine. I mean, each to their own. I leave everyone. I mean, whoever's an adult, you can make your own decision. Now, funny enough, I mean, we're starting to see some emails come through. I got a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, so I mean, it's not in my home, but my nieces and nephews who are 12 to 16, they're getting emails saying, "Hey, like, tell your parents that it's safe to get a vaccine and they should take you to go get vaccinated."
Wow.
I got a little problem with that.
That's very interesting.
That's kind of weird.
That reminds me of a country in Europe during the 40s. Like recruiting the kids to do stuff.
Yeah.
I won't name any names.
Early 40s.
But,
early 40s, right? Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Like, I know what country you're talking about. Yeah, it's a little odd, right? Like, since when did we think 12-year-olds should be making those kind of decisions, right? So
very interesting. They're not saying if they don't turn them in, are they?
No, not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
Okay. Well, that would be the next step, and that would be frightening.
Yeah, for sure.
So you are a huge producer of content, and really big in real estate sales in Canada. I'd love you to walk us through producing content.
That's an odd choice. Odd phrasing there.
Well, I'm an odd
I'd love
person.
you to.
Yeah. I'd love you to take us there and talk about content creation, because clearly we don't know how to or what we're doing. And I'd love to hear from a pro.
Well, I know your listeners and your audience obviously disagrees with you, and they know that you're just pulling everyone's leg in that sense. I mean, to I know how hard as a fellow content creator it is to book guests and just put yourself out
Yeah.
there. So big kudos to you guys, man,
Thank you.
and your team. Because I'm sure just you two can't do this on your own.
No, we tried.
No.
Whew.
Yeah, I know you guys did, and it just it couldn't have happened. It couldn't have happened. But for me, it really started 3 years ago to consistently produce that in that range of 3 years ago. I probably started just with the podcast, and then it was only audio. Then I went to video, and then I quickly learned that okay, with a 30-minute, 45-minute podcast with video, what I can do with it. I can get to 18, 19 pieces of content just out of one podcast. Okay, imagine if I could do two macro pillar pieces of content, which could be a podcast, it could be a Q&A show, it could be a webinar. I can get out to more, I can produce more content. I can actually put it out more, which will hopefully bring me more awareness with the people that I'm trying to attract and repel the ones that I don't want to work with, because they now, guys and gals, right? They get to make a decision when they've either seen me, heard me, read a blog, read a caption, saw an image. They can say, you know what? I really like this good-looking Indian guy who waves his hands all day. I do want to work with him.
Yes.
Or, there's something wrong with that good-looking, not so good-looking Indian guy who wears a T-shirt but yet talks to people about creating wealth in real estate. I want my advisor in real estate to be in a suit and a tie and speak very well. Yeah. And so that's not what you're going to find with me. And so that's when I put this content creation on steroids, and where I said, okay, I'm gonna build a whole team. And so in real estate, I'm sure you guys get it, and your audience gets it. You get like stuff in the mail, the just listed, the just sold. You get people who cold call you and door knock you. And I'm an avid believer about it, that in sales, throw everything up against the wall, see what sticks, see what you like to do, and then continue to do that. And all those things work. It's just, for me, I didn't want to do any of that. I liked creating content. And so that's where I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to spend all my marketing dollars into building what I call my personal media squad. So I have 7. I have a creative director. I have 3 videographers and editors. I have animators now, nostalgic about cartoons, and a video of me turned it into a cartoon. There's a little Jas, we call him, and now I'm able to scale that out as well, right? More like what Walt Disney did with the Mickey Mouses and the Donald Ducks, right? That's kind of my thought process with that, okay, I can actually, little cartoon Jas can do a lot more than real Jas can, right? And so, yeah, I have a copywriter, an ad person as well. And so I put all my money back into the business, into content creation, which just gets me to, gets me in front of more people. And then eventually that gets me more deals.
How much of the content that you create is dropped for organic versus paid traffic?
Yeah, so for me, it's probably about 80% is organic. I've been cultivating a database, for a lack of a better word. I call them my insiders, for the last 16 years that I've been in real estate.
Wow.
I look over to my whiteboard just to see what the numbers look like as they get updated at the start of the week. It's 9,280 people. So my community is quite wide now in terms of scale. However, I produce, and the main reason I started with the production of content, that's kind of what I really want to get out to your audience today, is that I started this solely for one reason. I just wanted to give tools to my current community so they can introduce me to their family and friends, right? Like in the real estate business, it's a harder ask if I say, hey guys, when you know somebody who's thinking about buying, selling, and investing, can you please introduce them to me?
Right.
Can you refer them?
They're like,
It's a harder
yeah,
ask, right?
yeah, I
Yes.
don't want to.
And then what? And what's the chances? And what's the chances of the stars aligning and the timing being perfect that you know somebody right at that time? So what I thought to myself is, okay, let me give my guys and gals some tools, which would be video, audio, blogs, Instagram 2-3 minute clips and all that kind of stuff, where they can now introduce me to their friends, family, colleagues, and neighbors, as I can use that content and repurpose it in my emails, in my newsletters. Hey, did you see this video? Like now, I'm going to say only about 50 to 60% of my content is real estate. I have other passions. There's more to me than just real estate. There's my passion for entrepreneurship. I like to start companies. I like to start businesses. I like to have a team around me. So there's 46 real estate agents on my team.
Wow.
And 11 support staff. I like to document the journey of the ups and downs of that. Like I've failed way more times than I've ever succeeded. And so I want others to see that. So I chose to also show that content. But if someone's listening and saying, dude, I don't really give a crap about like the entrepreneurship stuff. I like to sell insurance. I like to sell boats. But I also have a passion about FIFA soccer. I have a passion about the Avengers, the movies. What I would say to that person is talk about that. Because you know what? Imagine you can sell insurance to only avid Avenger fans. How much would you enjoy your business? So
Right.
much more.
Yeah.
And if you don't think you can design your business around your life, you're just wrong. You could. Like you literally could design your business around your life, but it starts with getting the clarity, in my opinion, of what you want, why you want it, because when shit gets hard and people tell you you look like an idiot on producing this content, you sound like an idiot, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And so your why better be strong, and then let the universe take care of the how. That's the universe's job, not your job.
Rogan always talks about the comments, and he's like, just don't read the comments. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So I have a question.
If you want to get beat up, that's a place to go.
Right. Go to the cesspool of
the
cesspool of negativity. Yeah.
yeah.
So I have a question. So real estate, I mean, I guess it's more accepted now doing this. I mean, I'm sure 2 years ago it would have been a lot less accepted. Now you start telling people, hey, I'm going to start filming myself and showing all kinds of pieces of content. The first thing, I've gotten this, and I'm sure you have, where it's like people think, especially like your family, you're being a little narcissistic here. You get those kind of comments, or you definitely get pushback. So what really catapulted you into doing this? And then obviously along the ride, you have to justify what you're doing in spend and time. So at some point you start looking at some sort of KPIs on your return of investment. And so I know now you got that down, and now you're able to get a ton of content out of less work. So I kind of want to just take that journey from the beginning to the end point, and how you're able to get so much out of so little now, and how you were able to navigate that from the beginning of the haters.
Yeah, so luckily for me, my wife has always called me a narcissist. Like she's just always been with her for 20 years. So when she started saying it, when the video started coming out, I was like, well, there's nothing really new. Now we're just going to put it on video. But half kidding.
Right.
I do have the 2 kids that I mentioned, but I don't show my kids. I don't actually show my wife as well. She just doesn't want to be part of it from that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to watch it anyway, just like ours.
She doesn't want to watch it anyways.
Yeah.
You pretty much can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I say whatever I want. She doesn't watch any of the content.
Right.
Anyway.
Say
yeah. And so, yes, when we started around here in my office, there's 1,300 in the organization. So I'm under the umbrella of a real estate brokerage. My 44 agents and the 11 support staff, we're branded under this a company called Royal LePage Signature. It's just a real estate company. It's a franchise, but we built our team and everyone under this franchise of 1,300. when they started, and even till this day, I'm in the corner. I asked the broker, I've known him for 12 years now. I said, listen, put us in the back. You know, kind of how we like to do business. We like to open up some scotch around here on a Wednesday afternoon. If we, you know,
it's hump day.
Like you would like to. Yeah, it's hump day. Why wouldn't you? We like to play some music, and then we like to do a lot of recordings. And so I set this room. There's a bunch of whiteboards around me, but then there's also some graffiti in this room for one of my backdrops, and then there's this media wall behind me. And then we got a bunch of cameras in here, and then I got my videographers walking around and content people, videographers and editors. I mean, I can say this because they've been around me for a long time, and I think they're different. Like, they're not salespeople. They like to put their headsets on. They work at different times. They want to dress the way that they want to dress. So I have that. I've built that culture in the back. But these other 1,300 agents were like, "What the f are you up to back there? None of this makes sense." Like, and on top of that, like, I've written a book on how to buy, sell, and invest in real estate on your own. I don't sell this book. I'm not showing it to you as a promotion piece. I'm saying it because I've always tried to disrupt the industry a little bit. So when I came out with this book a couple of years ago, I mean, I was already a little hated on by the real estate agents, because I tell people, like, you don't need a real estate agent at all. Legally, you don't need one. Here's everything. I'm going to tell you everything that we do, because I know 99% of you are never going to do it on your own anyways.
Right.
Just like anything else in life, you can teach me how to change the oil on my car. I'll leave my car in the middle of the highway before I try to change a spark plug. I'm going to leave it, call the dealer. Like, most people are like that. And so what I decided to do is say, I'm only going to focus my branding and my messaging around teaching people how to do it on their own. I don't do a lot of call to action stuff, which is different than what you see on those just listed, just sold. It's not like call me. It's like, here's the education. Go do a digital deep dive on me. When you're ready to do business, we'll go to the next step. So, you know, I think I was built for it. To answer the first part of your question, like, how did you deal with all the negativity and what people were saying? Because fast forward 3 years, I mean, there's more people now that hired maybe a videographer to follow them for half a day. I have it on. I have it on all times, right? Because I had the foresight, and I put it to one guy. I had an opportunity to do a podcast with Gary Vaynerchuk, not too long, like about, I don't know, 2.5 years ago or something. And after him and I are done, I spent myself, my co-host / VP, my business partner, as well as one of my videographers, we spent all day in his office. Let me go around to every single one of his people, like a full day spent in his office. But Gary, what he did is he pulled me aside. He's like, bro, I'm telling you right now, you just continue to do what you're doing. I guarantee you the business will come. And God bless that guy's soul, man, because it's exactly what happened. To your point about KPIs, my true KPI is what people say to me in emails, direct messages, and now when I get onto Zoom calls or when people come into this room, which is like, okay, we already know how to invest, and we know we want to work with you. Can you just tell us which one? And that, after being in real estate for 16 years, but really, truly, there's a reason that red phone is behind me, because it's a reminder that I've been in sales for 26 years. It's all I've ever done since I was 12 years old. I've had no other job. That I've always been working uphill, right? Like, to build a rapport. You know how it is in the first 20 minutes of a sales call or a sales meeting. You're just trying to, like, give them the pitch of, like, what you do, what your company does, and that's all taken care of now. Like, it's almost like, wow, if you haven't seen a piece of content, no, no disrespect, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, Mr. and Mrs. Client, but here's a video. Take a look at it, because it's going to answer a majority of your questions. I'm still here to answer any of your questions, and so is my team. But I want you to get a taste of us first, because you know what? At one point, there's going to probably be an F-bomb that's thrown in our relationship. And if that's going to throw you off, let's not get started, because it's not worth wasting your time or my time. We're going to throw the F-bomb right at the get. Like, just so we're going to let you know who you're working with. And look, it's translated into close to 650 to 700 homes every single year we do, year over year, for the last 7 to 8 years.
It's amazing how much.
That's your question about the KPIs. Sorry, I want to make sure I brought that answer. So I mean, I don't look at the metrics from a like, because it's different, right? When you send out a flyer, you can see how many people called you. With content, it's a little different. And for anybody who's listening or watching right now, you need to do this for about 18 months before you'll break through this, that you'll break through the ice in that sense, where you will now you'll notice the brand awareness, and you'll get the DMs and the calls of, oh my God, I'm surprised I'm doing business with you. I'm surprised I'm giving you a call. You're almost like a Z-list celebrity in that sense.
Right.
And it just helps the sale.
Yeah. And we'll get messages, and it is crazy. Like, cause we're just a couple insurance dudes, but we'll get messages and people say great things. And, some people say not great things, but it doesn't really matter. It's just cool that where people are, there is awareness, right? And you create so much more awareness, and that you talked about that top of the funnel, right? Where that's awareness. And now there's such a huge opportunity to create awareness at a scale that you couldn't back when we had rotary phones, right? And actually, I was there when we were using Morse code, like this little tick 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 tick. It's remarkable, the opportunity out there, and I think people can't get past their whether it's ego or whatever that's stopping they're scared to be on camera because they look stupid. I'll tell you, I mean, when we first got on, we were terrible, and it was really, really hard to watch. For me, it was hard to watch myself. And now it's like it's like watching the tape. You just get better.
Well, and to anybody again who's listening right now, I mean, you trying to compare your first video to the insurance dudes. Like, what podcast is this for you guys now? We're coming up on 350. It's an insult if you're listening to this podcast right now for you to compare your first to their, even their 100th video. It's
right.
An insult to these guys, right? Like, you guys put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. Like, I mean, whiteboarding stuff, I'm sure, right at the start, that's where it started. Now you guys turn on the friggin' mics. I saw what you did before we started this. Like, it's turn on the mics. Let's go. Jas, you ready? 3, 2, 1. We're ready. Like, that right. Takes time, right? And so for anyone in the audience right now, like, give yourself some time, have some patience, but this will work. This will work if you just continue and you're consistent with it.
It's so much fun too. You can have so much fun with it because you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And you're right. 18 months was kind of the tipping point. We were going and going and going and thinking, is this ever going to turn into anything?
So what happened for you guys at 18 months? That, like, how did you remember that it was 18 months?
Well, I think that, and Jason, you can, obviously you have your take on, I think we're probably pretty aligned. It was the critical mass of listeners where we had it was from in the hundreds to in the thousands every week downloading. And then people were asking us, well, how are you doing what you're doing? Cause we've done fairly well with our captive carrier, and we read a couple 100,000 each a month. And we decided, I guess we could package up what we do in our office and get it to other agents. And we created another company called Teledudes that does telemarketing and does the whole, but we built out the whole telefunnel, right, for people. And it was like, wow, everybody just started coming, and it's been awesome because we've been able to take people that have no idea how to work leads, no idea how to do any of these things, and then get them to where they're writing all this premium. And it's awesome. It's just awesome seeing that transformation. So
I think it's brilliant, right? Like the fact that you took what was working well and then you went outside to the masses in that sense. It was so nice to hear that it was at the same kind of time frame. I mean, Jason, you were going to say something, I think.
Yeah, there was a couple like the first 6 months, when you go into it just like, what is this stuff? And you have like the 1 or 2 listeners, and you're like, there's 10 people listening. And
it's our moms.
And then there's like, and then all of a sudden there's like more. There's like, it's slow. It's almost exponential, right?
Slow.
It's so slow at first, and you're like, this is never gonna work out,
right?
And it was so horrible.
44. 47.
Yeah, like then you record something, and you're like, I wouldn't even listen to that. That's horrible, right?
Yeah.
And then right around 6 months, we were like, okay, we got to get on a schedule. So then we got on the schedule, and I'll never forget, the schedule was the thing that like really started making it like we could start seeing bumps.
Yeah.
And then beyond.
But literally every Wednesday forever, unless I'm on one of my many vacations that Jason gives me a hard time for. But it's only because I don't have much longer. I'm so old. But it's like literally every Wednesday. And then we were doing the webinar too. We were doing it live. We did the webinar live for a year, right, Jason? I mean, was it over a year probably?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, I guess we could record it and just evergreen it. And so we did that. And that's great because now people can do it whenever they want. But it's been just like, I mean, we've been on every week for so long. And what's interesting is, and a lot of people don't know this, is Jason and I, we met a while back just talking on the phone. And when we started doing the podcast, we hadn't met. And I think we went over a year without actually meeting in person before we met in person. But
we became business partners.
Yeah, business partners.
So after that, we became business partners even before we met in person.
Yeah.
So hang on, but then how did so how did you guys meet? Like, were you guys a guest on each other's like on a podcast?
No, I had a coaching company that just helped with some little insurance stuff, and it did all right. But we talked from that, and then we just kept talking, and we'd had a lot of fun sharing ideas on the phone. And we're like, yeah, we could. We both were kind of starting to do our own podcast, and we thought, let's just do it together. And then, we thought insurance dudes, and because it's kind of both of our vibes, and boom, we've had a blast. Like it's a lot of fun.
I mean, the branding's great. I love it. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm excited to do this because I know you guys are taking it serious. And I mean, I truly am, and like not just blowing smoke up your guys' ass, man. To be part of 300 episodes, it really means a lot. So thank you.
You have your own podcast.
We love your story.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you guys gotta definitely come on mine. I mean, I'm at about 159. I come out every Wednesday with an episode as well. I just chose hump day. I probably again do about 50 to 60% of my episodes are all real estate related, teaching people how to invest in real estate. Out of the 650 to 700 families that we help, I'm gonna say half are investors. So we're just big believers in creating wealth through real estate. It's just not because it's the best. It's just it's what we know. And so I'm going to say about 50-60% is that content, and then the other 40% is just me documenting. And so I bring people on like the Gary V's, the Greg Cardones, the Patrick Bet Davids, anyone I want to learn from. I mean, that's right. Like I just barely passed high school. I think they just wanted me out, so they got me kind of that last credit or something like that. And I learned through books and audiobooks and seminars, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to start this podcast. I did 17 episodes that were all real estate, and I was like, this is boring. To Jason's point earlier, like, who the heck's going to want to listen to this? But I just got bored. Like, what am I going to tell you? Like, this is how to get a home inspection. This is how to get a mortgage. I just got bored of it, and so that's when I added some of my passions to it, and that just kind of grew the audience because it wasn't just always real estate. And anyways, my community loves the mindset stuff, right? Because they're like, I believe that you need the mindset stuff, but then you also need like practically what to do. Like, here's how to actually invest. Here's how to get a down payment. And so that's what I mix it up with, man.
Isn't it so funny how if somebody's done it, there's a process to it, right? Everything is a process to it. Why is it that not everybody achieves that? They can see the other person do it, just follow the exact same steps, but then you bring the whole mental aspect in, and that's the real struggle. It's not the doing it. Anybody can do the steps every single day. Wake up, put on their pants the same way, go to the office, make the same phone calls the same way. The only difference is that mindset. Like, that's it. Once you get over it, it's kind of like Donald Trump. You know, he went bankrupt how many times, right? You could put that dude out with nothing. And because he's done it and that he's in that mindset and he's seen it and like he believes it, dude, he could build it.
He'll make it happen.
He could build it in no time, right?
Yeah,
Because of that.
Me, Yeah, for me, just watching so many people on my team, um, I think it clicked for them when the why was strong enough, right? Like I always think
Yeah.
about the story of the grandma that picked up the car with her grandson underneath it, and she picked it up, and I mean her why was strong enough, right? I mean, for me, a little over 3 years ago, my I had a there's two current. I have a business partner right now, but there's three of us who, and he tragically passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like my why, and thank you for that. My why got really strong, really quickly because he was also the face of the brand. And so for our company to keep going, one of us had to do it. And I decided that, you know what? I mean, I was under his mentorship for a very long time that I was ready to take it on. But I think just for most people, I don't think their why is strong enough. They haven't clearly defined it because when you do, and then you actually look at it every single day. And I know this is going to be fluffy for some people, but it's the truth. Like if you put that shit in front of you every single day
Mm-hmm.
and remind yourself, and it might be a little chip on your shoulder to show people that, you know, all the people that told you that you couldn't be something. It could be your kids. It could be whatever. That why, once you make it strong, then you're going to consistently stay up late at night and wake up really early in the morning to do this, because it's not, and you guys know this more than anyone else, not only with content creation, but I'm talking about like running an organization, running a business, that it's it's boring at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to work and you work till 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, you go home, you eat something, and then you go to sleep, you wake up, and you do the same shit over again, right?
Yeah.
Why do you do it? Because your why is strong enough. You know that you do want to achieve something. Your ambition is higher. Like this is not about being motivated, because that stuff only lasts. You know, you get motivated on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday you're demotivated,
Right.
right?
Right.
You need to be inspired. You need to be pulled by something that's bigger than you. And I think you just gotta try a lot of stuff. Like, how do I find my passion, Jazz? How do I find my purpose? Look, just try a bunch of things and see what sticks. See what you
Yeah.
like. See what would keep you up really late at night and wake you up in the morning.
And it's okay to mess up and fail and screw up, but the real resolve comes when you get right back up, right? And that's so important. You said something really interesting. I can almost tie it back to to them sending that email to the 12-year-olds who will then talk to the parents to get the shot. And it's like, what happened? Like as we get older, there's this voice that tells us we can't do it, right? And I think they're going after those 12-year-olds because the 12-year-olds will just do it. They're not afraid to do things, right? They'll jump on, they'll get on the skateboard, they'll ride down the thing and fall and crack their head open. They'll get right back up. And we're just so risk averse. We're so afraid to look bad or to screw up. And it's just remarkable, you know, like the only way to overcome that is to do what you're saying, which is to program yourself, you know, write that message, look at it every day, you know, figure out what that why is and go after it. But you have to constantly remind yourself. It's like going to the gym every day.
It's like, you know, brushing your teeth, right? We suggest that you do it 2-3 times a day, minimum twice a day. And it's making sure that you put in the reps, like you said about the gym, right? Where
Yeah.
you're not going to see the results happen after day 4. Like if you looked into the mirror on day 7 and, you know, and looked at your muscles and were pissed off that they didn't grow, they would look at you and laugh. Like, what are you, new to this, dude? This takes time. It takes some time. And so I always go back to asking people what their why is. Like, why do you want to? I just became a real estate agent. Why? Because you saw some friends driving around in BMWs and Mercedes, and you think that they make a lot of money, and is that why we're doing it? Which is fine. Which is fine. I just know you probably won't last on my team because we don't have any quick fixes around here. Nothing around us is with shortcuts. It's all takes time. It's all built from the ground up. It's why I said to you 80% of my content is organic, because I'm not really looking for the cold leads. I'm not looking to buy followers. You know, how many DMs do we all get, or private messages with hey, let's, you know, do you want to buy followers and all that kind of stuff? We don't want any of that. We don't care about width. We care about depth. And you don't get into any of that when you know that if you just continuously fail forward, you will hit your target, but you gotta be willing to fail.
100%. It's always the people that fail over and over again are the ones that find success. What's the saying? Like, everybody says it. It's funny how, and Grant Cardone said it in a video I just watched recently. He was talking to some lady about, what does she bring to him? She brought to him something about, she was talking about sales in a sales call, and she said all of her clients are difficult that she has to do sales calls on. And automatically you can kind of see his eyes rolling. He's like, all right, this, for, you know, like you could see because the mindset wasn't there. And he's like, how many calls are you making? And she's like, yeah, I make, you know, this many, whatever. And he's like, all you need to do is increase the volume. Like, that's it. That's all you need to do to win. And he said, it's just a numbers game. It's just it's a mindset. You have to fail. Everybody's going to fail. But the sales dude that fails the most will find the most successes. At the very end of the video, he says, it's funny how those that fail the most have the best luck, or something like that.
So true.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in real estate, we hear from clients all the time, I only have $50,000 right now, and in our city in Toronto, I mean, it's tough to invest with 50,000. You generally need about, call it 150,000, call it 100,000 for argument's sake. And my response to them is always the same. You have 50,000. That's a great start, but you can still invest if you just go find two people that have $25,000 each, or find one other person who has $50,000, or find 10 people that have $5,000 each. You can now invest. See, the brain will always find what it's looking for. Always, long before Google, we have on the front part of our brain a thing called the RAS, the reticular activator system, that it's always activated. It's just a matter of what are you telling it to find. Pregnant women always find pregnant women. We always, you pick up a brand new car, you never saw it forever before, and now you see it every single day. They were there before. It's just that your brain's looking for it. It's just like what Grant was saying to the lady, like, yeah, your clients suck because you think that's what you're thinking.
Right.
Just saying, you know what? I'm the luckiest person that I get to make phone calls every single day and hear a bunch of no's, because I'm about to hear some of the biggest yeses in my life. Your brain starts to look for those yeses now. It's a funny thing that happens when you just put your mind to something. Really interesting, for a lack of a better word.
Right. Yep. And you always know if somebody's going to find the success by, okay, I'm going to try to do this. I don't know. I'm going to try it. It might work. It might not. It's like, all right, well, don't even try then. Don't even try. You need to go into it saying, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. What does try to do
your
it means?
I don't know.
Mean? A Yoda says do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, that's so true.
Exactly.
You gotta listen to Yoda.
I mean, Yoda knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, and when you actually do something, look, it might not succeed to the level that you envisioned it, but be open to something else coming out of that, right? I mean, I love the story about you guys doing the content together, and then you realize this other opportunity. And I'm sure you've had 17 others that you probably just pushed to the side, but one seems like it's popping, and that's what you decided to do, right? And so, I mean, you can start in sales, and you were selling insurance, but then over time you might be like, you know what? I sold something to a real estate agent guy. I really like what they do, and then you start selling real estate, or vice versa.
Right.
Anything like that can happen, but you got to start looking for that.
Yeah. You have to be on the racetrack in order to see that everybody waits for the opportunity. And it's like the opportunity is only there when you put yourself in different situations that it can be presented to you. It's crazy. I was that guy. I mean, for all my 20s, I was waiting for the opportunity, and it wasn't until I just started doing all the time that, I'd find one out of 100 things that might work. And it's like, okay, this thing. And then it led to something else. And then it leads to something else. It's like activity breeds activity, I guess. Yeah.
You just got to do. Yeah.
Crazy.
I I was gonna say success breeds success too, right? Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you continuously do something that's working, and now you start to put yourself in front of resources, meaning people and money and certain opportunities that, again, like to what you said, Jason. I mean, they're always there. You just never got in front of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I love this conversation. We always ask this at the end is what piece of advice would you give any insurance agent coming into the industry or insurance agent that was, in a slump that wanted to like kick it back up? But I think for you, like, I want to ask you, like, what would you advise any business owner? What would you, I mean, all the roadblocks mentally. I don't know technology. I don't want to do this. What piece of advice would you give them to just kickstart their business into 2022 and beyond, to really just crush
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, even back to your question about it, kind of insurance, and I'm definitely going to answer your question for business owners, but for the insurance guys and gals, and if you're in a slump, I always think of, and maybe it might not resonate with all you guys there, but we always use hockey, some majority of the times as our sports analogies here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a massive Pittsburgh Penguin fan since like Mario Lemieux day and now Sidney
Oh
Crosby,
wow.
and yeah, and I always think about when those guys go into slumps, it's generally because they're holding the stick too tight.
Hmm.
Very Lemieux knew how to score the puck. Sidney Crosby knew how to score the puck. If you're a salesperson, you know how to sell. If you're in a slump, that means you probably did something very, like, you've had success. You know how to sell. You know how to make calls. You know how to follow up. Go back to the basics in
Yep.
sales, which is pick up the phone and just follow up, follow up, follow up. If you're scared to follow up, you might, or you're not liking to follow up, that might be a time to get out of the business, because sales, and we know this, all three of us here, and majority of your audience knows that sales is all about follow up. I mean, I got into real estate because there was guys that I sold cars to when I was in the car business that English might have been their fourth language, but they sold a lot of damn homes. I saw what their applications for the car said. It was because they would follow up until someone bought, or they told them to F off. So
Right.
follow up, which to me, if you're in a slump, just go back to basics. To a business owner, I think especially in the time that we're in now, for me anyways, the time that we got into the lockdown, I heard our prime minister speak the day, March 16th, that they said that we're going into a lockdown. And I've never heard him speak ever since again, that day. Not because he hasn't been speaking, because I decided that I was going to shut out the noise, shut out the internal noise, the external noise, the
Yep.
external noise of the media. Not that you don't need to know maybe like what the cases are and what the numbers are, but do you need to have it on all day long? Like
Mm-mm.
all the, do you need to know that, do you need to have all that negativity? And so find people that are inspiring, that do pull you up, because if you hang around with five negative people, five people that are just, Debbie Downers all the time, there's a really good chance you're going to be number six. But on the
Yep.
flip side, if you hang around five people that are very inspiring and want to see you succeed, then chances are you can also be number six. So
Right.
for me, I mean, as a business owner, shut out the noise and just focus on what you can control, which is your efforts.
Yeah. Well, you start to whatever you're around, that's what you start to believe. And this thing in our dome is very powerful, the most powerful computer that you can get. Well, maybe there's some more powerful ones now, but it is what drives us and gets us there. Like you didn't get Grant Cardone or Patrick Bet-David or Gary Vee because you tried one time and it was at the beginning, and then you said, oh well, they didn't want to, never mind, right? You went after it. And some of the guests that we've had, including you, is it's from going after it, asking multiple times. I mean, there's there's its own funnel just to get guests, especially at the beginning.
I followed those three names that you said really quickly. I followed up with each of them for a year and a half. Grant took
No.
2 years and 2 months with like 17 no's. 17 no's. But he never told me to F off. He never told me to screw off. And so I decided that I was going to keep on going. I was going to keep on going until he did. Gary took about, I think, a little close to 2 years. Patrick Bet David, a year and a half. And there's so many other names. But it was all follow up. And so get ready for a lot of no's. Because, yes, to your point, I mean, I know how hard it is to get guests.
I got dogs barking.
Who let the dogs out, Greg?
Who
Let the dogs out.
Who? Thanks, Kenzo. Stop barking.
All right. Well, Jas, that was amazing.
Amazing, man.
I think Jas let the dogs out.
Yeah, Jas let the dogs out. How can people find you? What is your YouTube channel? Give us all the details.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. And I hope I brought some value to the conversation.
Oh, man,
today,
so good.
Most importantly, your listeners. Awesome. Best place really is the one-stop shop, which is my website. It's jastakhar.ca, JASTAKHAR.ca. CA is for Canada. YouTube page is just the first and last name, Jas Takhar. Very, very easy to find.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure some folks will go check that out. There's so much in your space that applies to this space and really to all business. You know, there's a lot of similarities across all the industries. So great to have you on. Really appreciate you coming. And thank you, man.
Thank you, Jas.
Thanks again, guys. Thank you so much, man.
See ya.